Good morning, students.
Good morning,
Good
ma'am.
morning.
Right, do introduce yourselves.
Yes, myself Megha. I'm studying in class 12N.
Meka, where are you coming from, Meka? What are your hobbies?
I come from Thiruvananthapuram. My hobbies are mainly, meditating, yoga, reading books, and listening to speeches of my favorite personalities mainly.
And who's your favorite personality?
Well, it ranges. I like listening to our Prime Minister, sometimes to motivational speakers.
Okay, fine. All right, Meka. Right. Now let's start. Meka, you may start your speech. And after you finish, Navanita will ask a question. And after that, I too will be asking you a question. Is that okay? Right, Meka, you may
Yes.
start.
Okay. Namaste, I'm Megha of class 12N. I would like to thank my teacher on the very outset for giving me an opportunity to talk about my idea of Bharat. Well, I'm very proud and glad to say that my idea of Bharat is the same as the Prime Minister's idea of Bharat, which is a Vishwaguru Bharat, a culturally, politically, socially, economically, militarily, a superpower nation. Some of its core features will be: one, Bharat's economy will grow significantly. Bharat has historically accounted for at least one third of the world's entire GDP. We have to reclaim and regain our historical position back. Secondly, I would like to see Bharat as a scientific and a technological superpower. I would also like to see Bharat as one of the top two global powers in space exploration. I would also like to see a Bharatiya space station revolving around our Earth's atmosphere. Our own Indian astronauts, also known as Vyomnauts, will be stepping on the moon for the first time next year. So, one step closer to our dream. Thirdly, I would like to see Bharat's educational system undergo certain reforms. I would like to see our educational system decolonize itself, and it should be made free from any propaganda or should not distort history in the name of harmony. Fourth, Bharat needs a universal healthcare. In any civilized society, healthcare and education must be made free, universal, and available to all. Currently, the availability of toilets in India is 98.21%, and the electricity is 99%, and the extremely successful Swachh Bharat Abhiyan has achieved 105% in total target of constructing individual household toilets and 118% in constructing community and public toilet. This should remain constant throughout the coming years too. And lastly, I would like to see Bharat as a cultural superpower again. Bharat has always been a net exporter of culture. In the past 1,000 years, it has changed. Bharat has to reclaim and regain its status as a number one exporter for culture by becoming a tourism and a cultural superpower. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Navanita, you can ask the questions now.
Megha, how do you think the implementation of Vishwaguru Bharat is going to benefit people belonging to different economic sections?
Yes, so in the very idea of a Vishwaguru Bharat, Atmanirbhar Bharat is really important. First coined by Bapu, our father of our nation. Now that scheme is being implemented by the current government too. Now, Atmanirbharta, that is self-sufficient. We have to be self-sufficient before being a Vishwaguru, before being a a superpower nation. So, according to me, for the past few years, we've seen that the Indian indigenous industries, let's take an example, Khadi industries. So, let that be in Uttar Pradesh or Gujarat. When the government encourages such indigenous industries, those people who are dependent on that will get a job, their family will get an earning. Hence, poverty also can be reduced if people start buying indigenous products. And that's how, for the past years, if we focused on the indigenous industries, we saw an economic growth. And now coming to the other section, that is investors, multinational companies, and capitalists. Let's take an example, case study. In Gujarat in 2003, there was a summit called the Gujarat Vibrant Summit. So MNCs and capitalists all over the country and the world, many American multinational companies invested in Gujarat. What happened? Infrastructural development. So when they invest in a particular state, they build buildings. How do they build buildings? We get Indian people to work. Hence, they get an employment. They earn. Secondly, graduates from the college, they get appointed as officers. They are also getting employment. So hence, as a whole, overall economic growth can be done. And I don't think it's just the investors, but also the indigenous industries which has to develop. So in a Vishwaguru Bharat, these two will be the prominent industries in India, I think.
Thank you.
Any more questions, Navneeta?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right, Megha, I'm very happy that you're very proud of your country. All right, but at times, do you think the political leaders are taking the people for a ride? The power of their words do not match the actions. At times, we find them speaking highly about Indian culture, Indian civilization, but then when what they do is against what they speak. Is
Well, ma'am, it depends on who that person is. So mainly, yes, there is a conception that political leaders during election, they promise something, and when they win, they do something else. But according to me, currently, when the prominent leaders of our country goes to some other foreign nation, they speak in Hindi. They don't speak in English. So that is some way decolonizing. And also when they promised for healthcare, electricity, today India has 99% electricity and 98.21% of public toilets. So yes, ma'am, it's a huge, big of a task because for the past many years we've been kept poor. So a sudden change cannot be possible. So it is a gradual change. And I think right now India is in the best possible condition compared to the past. I don't, I'm not completely denying the fact that some political leaders do, behave like what you said, but generalizing them won't be right according to me.
okay, Megha. Thank you. Right, Navneeta.